Most people believe that wasting life means failing, losing money, or never becoming successful. But according to the Buddha, a person can have a job, a family, possessions, and even respect from others while still wasting the precious opportunity of being alive. The Buddha often spoke about how rare human birth is and how quickly time disappears. He compared life to a drop of dew on a blade of grass that vanishes when the sun rises. The frightening part is not that life is short. The frightening part is that many people do not realize they are wasting it until years have already passed. The first sign is that you live almost entirely on autopilot. You wake up, check your phone, go to work. Eat, watch something, sleep, and repeat. The Buddha taught that unconscious repetition keeps beings trapped in suffering. When every day feels the same and you rarely stop to observe your thoughts, emotions, and actions, your life becomes a cycle rather than a journey. Mindfulness is not just a spiritual practice. It is the ability to truly notice that you are alive. If weeks pass and you cannot remember what you felt, learned, or understood, autopilot has taken control. The second sign is that your happiness depends on conditions. The Buddha explained that anything dependent on changing conditions is unstable. If your peace disappears whenever someone criticizes you, whenever money becomes tight, or whenever plans fail, then your mind is chained to the external world. This does not mean you should reject comfort or success. It means that if your inner state rises and falls with every event, you are giving away your freedom. A wasted life is not a life without possessions. It is a life where possessions and circumstances control the mind. The third sign is constant comparison. The Buddha warned against measuring yourself against others because comparison strengthens craving and dissatisfaction. Today many people spend hours looking at the achievements, relationships, and lifestyles of strangers. Instead of understanding their own path, they become trapped in envy or pride. Comparison creates the illusion that peace exists somewhere else, in another body, another career, another city, another life. The Buddha taught that suffering begins when the mind chases what it lacks instead of seeing clearly what is present. The fourth sign is that you keep postponing what truly matters. Many people say, "I will practice later. I will rest later. I will spend time with my family later. I will pursue my purpose later." The Buddha repeatedly reminded his followers that death is uncertain. One of his most powerful teachings was to live with awareness that this day could be your last. Postponement is dangerous because the mind assumes there will always be another opportunity. Years pass while the important things remain untouched. A person can be busy every day and still avoid what matters most. The fifth sign is that resentment occupies your mind. Holding anger feels powerful at first, but the Buddha compared it to grasping a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned first. If old arguments, betrayals, or disappointments still dominate your thoughts, they are consuming time that can never be recovered. Forgiveness in Buddhism is not pretending that harm never happened. It is refusing to let the past continue poisoning the present. Every hour spent feeding resentment is an hour removed from peace. The sixth sign is endless distraction. The modern world offers constant entertainment, notifications, news, and noise. The Buddha taught that an unguarded mind is easily carried away by desire and restlessness. Distraction is not always obvious. Sometimes it appears as endless scrolling, excessive consumption of information, or the inability to sit quietly for even a few minutes. When silence feels uncomfortable, the mind often seeks distraction to avoid facing itself. A wasted life is frequently not destroyed by one dramatic mistake but by thousands of tiny moments of unconscious distraction. The seventh sign is forgetting that life is temporary. The Buddha encouraged contemplation of impermanence because it awakens urgency and gratitude. Everything changes: the body, relationships, health, success, and even the strongest emotions. When people forget impermanence, they act as if they have unlimited time. They delay love, delay learning, delay kindness, and delay inner growth. Remembering impermanence does not make life depressing. It makes life precious. The awareness that something will end is often what gives it value. So what is the opposite of wasting life? The Buddha did not say that everyone must become a monk. He taught that a meaningful life is one lived with awareness, wisdom, compassion, and right intention. A person who works honestly, cares for others, observes the mind, and gradually reduces greed, hatred, and delusion is moving toward awakening, even in ordinary daily life. The goal is not perfection. The goal is becoming more conscious than you were yesterday. Imagine two people. One spends decades chasing status, reacting to every emotion, and living without reflection. The other spends the same decades learning to understand the mind, practicing kindness, appreciating impermanence, and acting with greater wisdom. Both may appear equally successful from the outside. But according to the Buddha, their inner lives are completely different. One is moving deeper into confusion. The other is moving toward freedom. The Buddha once asked his disciples which was greater, the tears shed through countless lifetimes of suffering, or the water in the oceans. He said the tears were greater. This teaching was meant to shock people awake. Human life is rare, temporary, and incredibly valuable. To spend it entirely consumed by distraction, comparison, resentment, and unconscious habits is to miss the opportunity that the Buddha considered so precious. If you recognize some of these signs in yourself, that is not a reason for guilt. In fact, recognition is the beginning of wisdom. The person who notices that they have been asleep has already begun to wake up. The Buddha never taught that people are doomed by their past ignorance. He taught that suffering can end through understanding. Every moment of awareness is a new beginning. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself a simple question: if my life continues exactly as it is today, where will I be in 5 years? Not only financially or socially, but mentally and spiritually. Will I be more peaceful, more present, more compassionate, and more free? Or will I simply have repeated the same patterns thousands of times? The Buddha's warning was not meant to create fear. It was meant to create awakening. The greatest tragedy is not dying. The greatest tragedy is reaching the end of life and realizing you were never fully awake while living it. Time is moving whether you notice it or not. The question is whether you will continue wasting it unconsciously, or whether you will begin living with the clarity that the Buddha urged humanity to discover more than 2,500 years ago.